Can you see my presentation?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so let me get started. So welcome back after our lunch break. And my name is Anna Szarek, and I'm functional consultant in Tieto Every. I'm working here almost 3 years, and my whole overall experience with Workday is more like 5, 6 years. I'm certified in Workday HCM Core, Workday Recruiting, and Workday Lunch. And today I will have a pleasure to present you a really cool new stuff for the recruiting, which made me personally really excited as a previous HRIS and talent acquisition support. Some practicals, so please put your question via chat. Of course, the session will be recorded and the recording will be available for you after a few days from the event. And as well, please feel free to use the presentation, which we deliver by a PDF, and write your own comments to this presentation. As always, Workday's Safe Harbor statement is applicable to all functionalities, which I will show you today. Okay, so starting with the key new features, which I will go through today, we can put them to three basic categories: candidate experience, recruiter experience, and hiring team experience. This time, only few new features. We will have the video on the community, so I hope that today presentation will really beneficial for you. As always, some feature will require additional form on configuration in your tenants to be visible and accessible for your users. Another will be available automatically without any actions from your side. So let's get started with first thing, which is the new external career site search and job details view, plus refreshed version of the sidebar content. So what we have here, with this release, new user interface will be automatically applied on the all external career sites. It will be a change for you if you haven't previously opted during the 2021 R2. It provides an improved user experience that makes navigation between jobs and search on external career site much more easier for the candidates. As well, the refreshed sidebar content provides improved branding and bigger recruiting marketing capabilities. As I mentioned, it will be automatically available in your tenant for all external career sites, but you will have an option only for one release, so the time period between March and probably September, to enable it, but navigate to the edit tenant setup for recruiting and uncheck the box next to the enable search UI on external career site. It's important to note that you won't be able to disable this user experience after 2022 R2. So maybe it's worth to consider to start using this functionality right now in March to make sure and make the transformation easier for your recruiting team. Okay, so let's go and see how it looks like in our new refreshed career site. So here we have our external career site for the global modern services. As you can see, we have here on the top some filters available for us. These filters can be configurable for your company needs. So you can have here something different that I have. I have the distance, location, job category, and employee contract types. So once I will try to filter that by location and choose, for example, Canada, and scroll to view all jobs, I will be able to see, like for Canada, we already have posted 4 different jobs. And once I can see, and I'm interested in the customer service representative based in Calgary, I can click that and the whole job description will be available for me on the right side of the screen, as well as the apply button. So it's something new because previously it takes you completely from this view to the job posting view. So it's easier for the candidates to see that and navigate through this page. As well, if I notice that, oh, it's the Calgary, but I'm located in Toronto and I want to make this job directly in the Toronto, I can easily switch to the posting based in Toronto and I will see the option and the job posting for the Toronto. Then back to the GMS main page for the external career site. We have as well the refreshed sidebar. So here, of course, you have the option to put some images and text and description about your company. You have as well option add here some additional text, some pictures, and as well the videos. Please note that for videos available here, you need to opt into the Workday Media Cloud, which is totally free of charge. So you can easily use it by contacting your customer, your project customer manager. And let's get back to the presentation. Some additional considerations about this feature. As I mentioned, new external career site will be available automatically for our external site, but you have one option for one release to enable it for your external career site. And as I mentioned, it will be not available to be disabled after 2022 R2. As a short reminder, an original post about sidebar configuration is available on the Workday community. And here I as well put for you the link directly to the article about that. And the short summary about this feature. The next item on our list is a new job posting indexing on the external career site. Workday enables you to prevent search engine for having access to your external job posting without your knowledge. So they cannot be accessed, used, and reposted. The configuration for this feature is very easy. So this time I will not go to the tenant because the whole configuration you can accomplish by using as a reference this one screenshot. So what we need to do, we need to go to the edit external career site task, choose our external career site on which we want to use this functionality. So prevent the third parties engine machines to use our posting. Then scroll to the job details section and tick this box next to the exclude site from third-party indexing new item. Worth to remember that this configuration is on the external career site level. So if you will choose the site that you don't want any of the job posting to be visible to third parties, configuration will be applicable to all job posting, which are using this specific external career site. So we cannot decide which job posting will be impacted by that and which not. If you will later decide that you want to allow search engines to have access to your job posting, you can turn off this option in the same way as we turn it on. Next, candidate-related feature is the Aboriginal and Indigenous identification and tracking for candidates. This feature isn't purely recruiting, but has a significant impact on recruiting. So I will quickly go through this feature. It's of course connected with the HCM core, and yesterday Joachim took you about for this feature. With Workday 2022 R1, Workday enables candidates to self-identify as Aboriginal and Indigenous. This, of course, helps you as an employer meet your diversity and inclusion goals. The configuration for this has a few steps, but it's really easy to achieve. So let's go through this directly in the tenant. So the first thing which we need to do, we need to go to the new task. So the maintain Aboriginal and Indigenous identification details and choose the country for which we want to do that. For very often, I think it will be used for Canada and Australia, and is the specific regions for this feature was added. So I will go with Canada. Here we have the options which I already configured for the Canada. So, but you have as well option to add something new if you need more information here. Please note that Workday will not give you here any information. It's something what is left totally on for the customers. Because Workday want to make sure that the details which are here are correct. So once I'm happy with that, I can click OK, and it will be save the items which we have here for Canada. Next thing which we need to do, we need to check the security. So I will go to the security item. 1 second, because it's jumping really. So we will go to the task domain security policy for functional area and choose from the list recruiting. And it takes some time to load this information because it's a pretty big domain. So once we are here, we can go to the candidate data personal information and take a look what we configured here in our candidate detail Aboriginal and Indigenous identification. Here, I already provided some access for our administrators and implementers as well with the modify view, and as well the information will be available in the view mode for some another security groups. Then we need to check the second domain, which is connected with the personal data, to make sure that our candidates will have the self-service access to that, and they will be able to add the details. So we go to the self-service personal data and check two domains, because first one is the new domain directly for Aboriginal and Indigenous identification. And we want to make sure that the candidate, the self-security group, has modified access to that. And as well, we want to make sure that our candidates have access with the modify view to the personal information. The next thing which we need to do, we need to go to the maintain localization settings and tell Workday exactly which country should have access to this new functionality. As you can see on the top of this page, we have already some new things connected with the Aboriginal and Indigenous identification directly for the candidates. So for both of them, so the identification and identification details, we can put the countries, we can require this for the country. So I will choose Canada. And of course, very important thing is activate this configuration, because without that, you will not able to see, and your candidates will be not able to see this new functionality. And as well for the details and as activated that. When it's done, we see that it's saved and activated. We can go to the last thing from the configuration which we need to do. So we need to our external career site. Choose the external site for which we want to add this new functionality for our candidates, then scroll down to the apply personal information for non-US workers. As you can see, we already have something here for Spain, but I will go and add Canada. When we choose all the fields, our new fields, so Aboriginal and Indigenous identification and details for this functionality will be available. We can as well put some title, because we didn't have previously any information for the Canada. So I will put the self identification. As well, we can put some instruction for our candidates, what exactly they need to provide here. And as well, you have option to override the text for this question, which will be visible for the candidates. Once we complete that, we can see right now on our career external site how it will be look like for our candidates. So we go back to our candidate site, and I want to apply for this customer service representative role based in Calgary. So I click apply and provide some basic information about my candidate. I need to create the account, of course. and agree to create this account. We need to provide some required information about our candidate. So I will really quickly do that. And put as well some phone number. I will change that to Poland because it's easier for me. Save and continue. And of course, we have to go through all the information which we need to previously to see our voluntary disclosure for the Aboriginal and Indigenous identification. So what I have here, I have option to declare myself and choose the identification. If I will say like, no, I still have option to identify myself as one of this option. But once I will try to submit this, I will receive the error information, and it is the background validation generated automatically by Workday. So you have here the information that only if I choose yes, I'm able to provide any values for my identification details. So I will go back, change it to yes, and then save and continue. And our error will disappear. And of course, next we can submit our application. Some additional consideration here, of course. So first, you need to check that you have a need to collect Aboriginal and Indigenous identification from your candidates. Next, make a decision who should have access to these identification details and secure access in the candidate data, Aboriginal and Indigenous identification domain. And of course, please keep in mind that this value which your candidates will add here will be as well moved with candidates once they are hired to the HCM core. So it's highly important to check it as well with the HR people who are responsible for the hiring process and configure this part which is purely connected with HCM core. And short summary about the configuration and what will happen if you will not configure that at all. Next, we have a bunch of features connected with Recruiter's daily work. First, with Workday 2022R1, we will receive an improvement connected with referral management. First, when an employee submits a candidate using the Refer a Candidate task or web service, Workday doesn't display this candidate as a referral in the system until the Refer a Candidate business process will be completed. So this is a big change compared to the current configuration. This improves, of course, the data accuracy and efficiency when you manage and report on referrals. If you refer a candidate business process has any additional steps, for example, review, questionnaire, etc., those steps need to be completed first because before you can view and work with your referred prospects. Workday provides as well a new duplicate management for referrals. With this new functionality, Workday prevent you from unmerging records that have an associated referral events in progress. Referral process must be completed before you can merge or unmerge the associated records. Workday deliver a new in-progress referral event report field that you can use to identify the creation date of in-progress referral events for purging purposes, for example. If you are using the duplicate policy and two in-progress referral for the same person will exist, duplicate management won't identify the duplicate and fire the error validation. The reason is that the both either are in progress and Workday is not able to fully identify the person which you want to move. Okay, so let's go to the tenant and see how it's look like. So I will go and start proxy as one of the employees in the Global Modern Services, Ben Adams. And Ben really want to refer one of his colleagues. So I will go to the find open jobs report. and find the job application in which I'm interested in. And Ben really wants to refer one of his colleagues as the customer service support based in Finland. So once I click here, I have the option to refer a candidate. So of course, I need to provide the basic information about the candidate. And worth thing which worth is mentioned here that our business process, so refer a candidate, have an extra approval step and review step from the recruiter. So once I submit it, it will be generate the new task for our recruiter. But before we go to that, we have the access as the Ben to the My Referral report. And you can see that our Anna referral is not visible here because this process, referral process is still in progress. So I will go then start proxy as our recruiter Carmen Cortez. And go to her inbox. And in inbox, we have the task refer a candidate, which we need to review. And we have as well the option like a recruiter can see like maybe this candidate has a potential duplicates with some in other referrals. But for our purposes, I will approve that. And like that, our business process is now like successfully completed. So we can back to Ben. And see once again his My Referral report. And right now we can see like once the business process is completed, our Anna referral is here visible. And we have as well information to which job requisition and when the referral date was completed. And of course, additional consideration, any reports fields and reports that now return in progress referrals will not longer work since those referrals will not be able to identify until the process is completed. Similarly, our reports with referred candidates detail will only show referrals that have a completed refer a candidate business process. Then Workday provides us with this new release bunch of updates about referral candidate ownership. For referrals with candidate level ownership, Workday will display the most up-to-date candidate ownership details and ensure one-time payments go directly to the most recent candidate owner. Of course, you will still have access to the whole referral ownership history. With 2021 R1, Workday deliver a new edit referral candidate owner task that you can use to update referral candidate ownership and ownership expire policy for an existing referral candidates. You can access this task using Workday Global Search or as a related action from the candidate profile. This task is secure by candidate data employee referral domain. Next, when you configure candidate level ownership and your duplicate referral policy is set to prevent referral if the candidate has a duplicate referral with an active owner on edit tenant setup for recruiting, Workday prevents the referral from being created if a duplicate candidate exists and has an active candidate owner. With the same logic, Workday enables the creation of the referral if a duplicate candidate exists, but candidate ownership has expired. If you are using a candidate level ownership for referral and view the candidate profile of a candidate referred through refer a candidate task, Workday display the updated candidate owner and expiry date for the candidate ownership. Second option, how we can configure the candidate refer ownership is configure it on the job application level. When you are using this level, Workday will display in the referral details tab on the candidate profile current job application source, ownership start date, and ownership expiry date. Finally, if you don't configure any ownership level, the referral details tab display the current job application source. Of course, Workday provides as well a new referral ownership grid in the referral details tab on the candidate profile. This grid will show you a bunch of details about previous candidate owners. I will shortly show you how you can turn on this functionality. So the first thing which we need to do is opt into the duplicate management framework. Please keep in mind that you will once opt into this, you cannot opt out. So it's the one-time action. Once I opt into the duplicate management framework, I will be able to access the task manage match rules, and I can add here a matching criteria for which work they should look when identify the duplicates. In my example, we have an email and candidate name. Next thing which we need to do is set up all configuration details about duplicate and referral ownership in edit tenant setup for recruiting. First, we need to enable recruiting referrals levels. So here we need to tick this button. Then we need to choose the ownership level. So we have a candidate level, job application, and none of the above. In my example, I chose the candidate level with ownership period for 6 months. And finally, we need to create and choose from the list a duplicate referral policy. In my example, Workday will prevent referral if the candidate has the duplicate referral with the active owner. Workday improved the referral bonus payment functionality to ensure that the candidate owner will receive the one-time payment for any candidates who go to the higher business process. If you are using job application level for referral ownership, the person visible in the line referred by worker in the report will receive the one-time payment once the candidate is hired. Next, the new functionality, which is super excited for me personally. As I previously mentioned, like the previous talent acquisition specialist, it's something for which community was asking at least for the last 6 years. So right now with Workday 2022R1, we will have option to create notes for the requisition and candidate job applications. Workday enables you to adding and reviewing these notes on the job acquisition composite view and job requisition workspace. You will have option to have a conversation with another users involved into recruiting process and easier track the hiring decisions, which will now not require a third party system because all information can be kept indirectly in Workday. Configuration is really easy. We need to activate only 2 domains. One is the domain when we provide the information about people who should have access to add and view notes. And the second one is directly for the administrators in our system and give them permission to use the maintain recruiting notes task. And here with this, we need to be super careful who we will assign as the person who has access to that, because via this task, you can easily remove the notes added by another user. So it's highly important to have this connected with administrators because they should know what exactly can be removed from the system. And short summary. And as well, the second part of the functionality is the new candidate job application notes panel. Configuration and overview for this is really similar. From the candidate profile perspective, you will have option to add then notes about how the process for this candidate is going. Configuration is very similar. We are using the manage candidate job application notes domain security policy to enable people who should have access to add and view the notes, and as well the same maintain recruiting notes for administrators is applicable. So let's go to the tenant and show you this functionality because it's super excited for me personally. So I will stop proxy as a Ben because we don't need him any longer. What do we need to check? We need to go to the domain security policy for functional area. And again, choose recruiting. And when we will scroll a little bit down, we will see the new domain, manage job requisition nodes. I already added here the managers and the recruiters, which will have the modify access to that, as well as some groups who can only view these nodes, which will be added. And the second option, which we have here, is the candidate candidate job application notes, and as well I added here the manager and recruiters. So okay, let's go as the Carmen headquarters and look how it's look like. So we have here Carmen Cortez and her whole panel for recruiting. We can choose one of the requisition, for example, customer service representative, and go directly to this requisition. First, we have the new collaboration panel for job requisition notes available from here. So as a Carmen, I can add notes from two different options. I can use this button here or add note from this side. So once I will click add note, I have option to put here some notes. Please consider the location. And then we have option to edit this, so I can bold some text for my colleagues who should see that. I can use the coloring for that to highlight the most important part of this. Once I will save this, the note will be visible for me. And as Carmen, who was the creator of these notes, I have option to edit it or delete these notes. Then we can take a look how it will be look like for the same requisition. For Alan, who is the hiring manager here. Once I open the job requisition, I can see like the notification information that the new notes about this job requisition has been added by somebody. I can open this panel and I will see that the new notes has been added by Carmen Condotes, and we can see the same information which I added when I was working as Carmen. But as you can see, I don't have option to do anything with notes added for Carmen. I can only add my own notes as the answer for Carmen. Like I can say, yes, please change the location. And once again, I can save this option. And right now we have the whole communication between those two people. But for example, when Alan decided an economy and take some information from his HR people and decided that, yeah, it's not possible to change this location, he can easily remove this note. Of course, here you will have the information from Rollgrade that this process cannot be reversed. So once I will remove this note, it will be disappear from this panel. In the same way, it's working for the candidates. Once we go to the candidates, we have seen here like what applications active are for this candidate, as well as a manager. I can add here some notes about my candidate. But it's thinking. I think it's stuck a little bit, but it's working exactly in the same way which we have for the job requisition. So I can edit, add notes here, and it will be visible for my recruiter. Next task which provide us Workday is auto-reassign job requisition inbox task. One details connected with job requisition organization assignment have been changed. It lessens the need for manual reassignment, which is, I think, paid for a lot of administrators in the system once the job requisition organization detail have been changed. Requisition align roles such as primary recruiter, unfortunately, are not supported by this future in this time, but is planned for some next releases, but we don't have the correct date for that yet. And then we can again back to our tenant. And take a look how it looks like from our recruiter perspective. So I will use one of the requisition under which Carmen is a recruiter. Is the call center operator evergreen requisition. As you can see right now, the hiring manager is Steve Morgan. And once we go to the details, we can see all the details connected with that. And the supervisory organization right now is Executive Management Group. So we want to change the manager, but one important thing is like that. We have here as well the candidates who have some awaiting actions. And this awaiting actions is the manager phone screen, and this is waiting for Steve action. So right now we have some in progress transaction visible directly in Steve Morgan inbox. So let's see what will happen when I will change the supervisory organization. So I will put here some reason why I'm doing this change. And I will change the supervisory organization to Global Support Canada. Then we will use the magic of our demo and speed up a little bit this process. So right now, when we back to our job requisition, we can see that hiring manager changed. And as well, when I will check the details, we have here like the new supervisory organization, which I right now provided. So the Global Support for Canada group. Once we back to our candidates and see like we still have one awaiting action, and of course is the again the manager phone screen, but we will take a closer look for that awaiting actions right now for the new manager. So where they automatically do that, we as the recruiters don't need to ask the HR people or our administrator, please reassign this task to one of the managers because we changed something. And of course, the short summary for that. Next thing is like with 2021R1 where they give us option to mark some fields as read only when we create or edit job requisition and evergreen requisition. It will help to keep details consistency between HCM core and recruiting, especially for job profiles, position, and job requisition. We have an option to mark as read only 3 different fields, so additional description, job description, and job description summary. Configuration for that is really easy because we can change everything by using only configure optional field task. So let's take a look how it's look like. So we are using the configure optional fields task for create job requisition business process. I would like to add the job description as a read only field. When somebody is creating the job requisition, the job description should be not possible for them to be changed. For this, we have here the new option marked like not enterable for all. So nobody who create the job requisition will be able to change that. Once I will submit this task, when I will go and create the new job requisition, you can see like all the details still are possible for me to be changed, but the job description is a static field. I cannot do anything with that. So it helps us to keep the data updated as much as possible. And finally, some other similar smaller features which are as well connected and have the cross impact with another streams. So first is the duplicate management enhancement, where they update the duplicate management framework by giving you option to merge records that have in progress recruiting event. For example, when you merge a candidate with a candidate home account and draft a job application to a candidate without a candidate home account, the candidate home account and draft job application carry over to the merge record. If you unmerge the record, the draft job application return to the original source. Next, duplicate management framework identifies duplicates based on the configured referral policy and match rules, which I described previously. Where they will inform you about potential duplicates when you will use create a referral or refer a candidate task. When you will start using duplicate management framework, Workday will no longer display the enable exact match for duplicate referrals option. on edit tenant setup for recruiting, because you will have option to configure candidate level ownership and duplicate referral policy. Workday as well deliver a new report fields, which you can use in the custom reports to identify potential duplicate candidates for referral candidates and job applications. Please keep in mind that those report fields will be available for you only if you will opt into the duplicate management framework. Second important note here is that once you opt into the duplicate management framework, you cannot opt out, as I mentioned, or access the recruiting match or merge functionality. It will be completely moved to the duplicate management framework. So if we're to consider which merging and duplicate configuration fits your company needs better. Then we have the recommend interview scheduling, and this is starting some movement to the innovation services framework. If you are using recommended interview scheduling, but you are not signed to the innovation services, it's a good moment to do it. And make sure that the configuration will be still accessible for users after 2020 R2 release. If you need more details about innovation services, please contact your custom success manager. This option required a separate sign-on with Workday name Innovation Services Addendum, and it's free of charge. At least last time when I checked it, it was free of charge for the customers. This functionality, so Workday Documents Enhancement, won't be available in preview, but it's planned to be delivered to the production. But if you are using Workday Docs, a lot of interesting features connected with the template translation will be delivered. This feature, as I mentioned, will be not available for testing, but is planned to deliver to the production. Now you will be able to design and customize content for multiple languages within a single document template. Each language that you add to the document template inherits the content present in the base layout at the time you add the language. You can customize the content in each language by adding translated text, replacing images, and changing colors. When you add new containers and data rows to the base layout, document reproduce these changes in all other languages layouts. When you select the base language of a document template, and you can do that when you create this template, Doc displays the resulting document in the base language if you didn't add a layout for any recipient's language. Documents automatically assigned USA English as the base language for all existing documents template. When you publish a documents template, all of the language layout are published too. And of course, Workday gives you an option to define the languages that are available to add in the language section on the Edit Tenant Setup global task. Finally, Workday expanded Workday Docs by enabling you to edit and preview templates as you run few business processes. And here is the list for the processes which are available for this functionality. Finally, candidate reporting for expenses. Workday gives you the option to create the expense report on behalf of the candidates who generate some cost during the recruiting process. This configuration is more connected with the finance, but has some impact for recruiting things, so it's worth to mention it here. The whole configuration has been presented by Tina earlier today, but as a reminder, we have a new security domain for candidate data, candidate expenses, and new business process to submit candidate expenses. And here as well, I provided for you the whole configuration. And finally, we have some roadmaps. The whole roadmap for recruiting is available on our Workday community. Here, I as well provided you a link directly to the recruiting roadmap. And we have some features connected with the candidate experience, what is planning for the future, for the driving recruiting efficiency and recruiting team, and as well for the fostering hiring team. Thank you for joining. And if, of course, if you have any questions to me, please feel free to contact me via email.
Hi, Anna. So we do have one question if you want to answer. So I would read out the question. So when creating a note to job requisition, can I tag an employee? And if yes, will that receive a notification?
No, so far with this functionality, the tagging people is not possible right now, but it's something what is planned for the near future. And it will be option to have the tagging and as well the notifications, but it's not right now confirmed by Workday when it will be available.
Thank you, Anna, for such an astute session.
Thank you.
And I hope the answer has cleared the queries.